Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and you might tell, based on my background, I'm sitting in the living room of my home in Carlsbad, and which is why I'm getting to my Facebook Live late today because I just came in this morning. I'm also fidgeting around with my camera. It's the first time. I'm not a technical person, as I've admitted 100 times, and so if it goes kind of wonky, it's on some auto focus. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe it won't work. But I'm excited to talk about a topic really quick, not excited, interesting topic. And my topic for today is I'm going to quote from an article from Felix Salmon. And the name of the article, there's really two articles. The first one is The Purest Form of Home Ownership. And the second one is Where Are the Uninsured Homes? And what we're going to talk about is uninsured homes because this is a growing issue. Today in the United States, over 6 million homes do not have homeowners insurance. 6 million homes. And if I remember right, there's roughly 180 million homes, and so 6 million of them now, is that about 3% if my math's right? 3% of homes in the United States do not have homeowners insurance, and that's a problem. That means if a storm comes and blows down the house, or a flood, or a fire, nobody's going to replace that home. The homeowner either has a choice to pay for it themselves, or the property just goes to being worth whatever the land's worth. And if you start to look at it by city, an interesting list of statistics, and I posted this on LinkedIn. I put a link to both articles. I also put a link in my show notes here to the article so you can check it out. It's from today's newsletter from Axos. Axos is a great newsletter. It's one of the better daily newsletters. It's free. If you check out the Axos, you like it, sign up. It has pretty good stuff. It has really usable stuff. Maybe 3 or 4 times a week, which is a lot, versus some newsletters and some articles are just not that important. But as you look at the share of homeowners who were uninsured in 2021 by metro area, so now the problem's worse. There's more today than 3 years ago. So when we say 6 million, think today a lot more probably. But 15% of homes in Miami are uninsured. 10% in Houston. Now, Miami and Houston, of course, have had major storms, right? Big storms. And so insurers are going, we're out. Peace out. We're not doing it. And then the insurer of last resort, which is often the state, is so expensive people can't afford it. So they're opting to go with no insurance. Now, if you have no insurance, that means you most likely don't have a mortgage, right? And we're going to get into what the complications of not having a mortgage in a second, or the penalties of not having a mortgage. But so Houston's 10%, Detroit 9%, Phoenix 6%, Los Angeles 5%, San Francisco 4%, Washington D.C. 3%, and New York 3%. Generally speaking, the states with a lower socioeconomic level, those states have more uninsured homes. And so if you look at it, it's states like New Mexico, Louisiana, I think Mississippi have a higher level as a state uninsured homes because the folks can't afford insurance, and the homes are relatively inexpensive, so they either inherit or buy houses inexpensively, and then they don't do the insurance. So really interesting. Now, not having insurance causes a problem, and this is why the name of the article is The Purest Form of Home Ownership. When a house doesn't have insurance, it's no longer an appreciating asset. Meaning you can't just freely sell it. If somebody can't get a mortgage on it, then it's not really, it's not so much of an investment anymore. All that you really have there is what's the value of having, a home, not as an investment, but just someplace to live. And so it's almost like being a renter, right, where you don't have the burden of, paying down a mortgage or those types of expenses. But it's also like a renter, you don't really benefit from appreciation. And so that's why I say the purest form of home ownership. The title of this article is What Would Your Home Be Worth If It Wasn't a Financial Asset? If there wasn't any financial, benefit of it, how much would you pay to live in your house? It's the same question, how much would you pay to live in an apartment, or how much would you pay to rent a house? Because you're really not going to get that appreciation. And here's the thing. What the problem is, when you can't get a mortgage on a home, one of the ways that home ownership delivers wealth in the United States, it's one of the few investments that people can make that are leveraged. Meaning that you might only put 20% down or 10% down or 5% down, right? And what happens, that's that leveraged investment. If you put 20% down and your house appreciates 5%, you've had 100% return, right? Well, if you don't have that leverage, you don't get that return. It's not as interesting. And then if you don't have an open market to sell it, I mean, the only way you can sell your house is people that pay cash, the people who aren't worried about losing the house to a storm or to a fire or a flood, right? You have a very limited market. So those houses sell for a really discounted rate. They essentially sell for just a little bit more than the price of the land. So if the land appreciates, you have a little appreciation. And then the problem is, of course, if that storm comes, because the reason why you don't have insurance is in a high risk area, you lose everything. And so it's a really it's an interesting thing, scary to think, 6 million people do not have insurance. And then, like I said, they can't get a mortgage, so they don't benefit from leverage. All that stuff is a problem. Of course, the government's trying to solve it. I don't know how you solve it. If if you live in an area that you get a hurricane every other year and it blows down your house, I don't know what to say. It's just, I don't blame people for not insuring it, type of thing. But so that's my topic today. Pretty quick, but uninsured homes. One more thing we have to think about. One more thing. It happens here in California. Here in Southern California, in all of California, there's wildfires that are really exacerbated by the Santa Ana winds. The winds get really fast. It's hot. It's dry. And the biggest wildfire, I think, was a Creek Fire. It burned down 1,850 homes. Most of those people still, 4 years, or it was 2018, so 6 years later, most of those people haven't rebuilt. And if they could rebuild, they wouldn't get insurance because they're still in high, prone fire areas. But so it's a problem, remember, whether it's the West Coast, whether it's in Hurricane Alley, if it's from, blizzards, the climate is changing, and that's just having an impact, and it will have an impact on housing. So, topic of today, check it out. Thank you for checking me out. I'm catching up on all my LinkedIn posts. Hopefully I have some interesting posts there. You can get this article on my LinkedIn post. You can get it in the show notes. Hope you had a great day. It's beautiful outside. I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks. Bye.